All right, I'm about to just present my research paper. Let's talk about some things that I have in here. The effects of usage of movement in the choral rehearsal to enhance performance. Um, so, movement in the choral rehearsal is a facet of teaching that enhances any ensemble's performance if used consistently. Uh, Movement in the choral rehearsal is very important, in my opinion. I believe, and from this reading and research and reading these articles, I feel like movement is it should be incorporated in every choral director's classroom on a daily basis. We have to understand that students they have to see um, why they're doing what they're doing every day. So in that case, when it comes to movement, you can't just have them moving uh, just because or trying to trick them or use it as a gimmick, you know, to get them to do silly things. But you have to understand that when they start to see what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing in regards to movement, um, and they see those benefits, then you start to have impact, and then you start to have more participation. Because one of the articles in particular was talking about boys. We know that boys they're a little bit, slower to respond when it comes to moving in a choral classroom, let alone in another classroom. All right, so you have to, in a sense, gain that trust from them. The first thing a teacher must consider when incorporating movement in their lesson is that students have to see that rationale, like I just said, for the movements incorporated in the rehearsal. All right. It says, when singers are unclear about the purpose of an activity or participate with indifference, movement has little to no effect on the sound of the choir. All right. So, like I said, they have to see those benefits. For instance, if y'all are singing a legato line, all right, one thing you can do is get your students to hold their hand out and what we call paint the fence. All right. Just say, for instance, oh, say, can you see? You would say, oh, Jose, can you see? No. You would simply say, oh, say, can you see? And you can also transfer that to English as well. You wouldn't break the line. You wouldn't breathe in between or in the middle of that phrase. All right. So you can. That's just one little example that you can do to make that connection. All right. Also, it talked about let's allow students to have their own perception of movement in the choral rehearsal, and allowing them to use their creative minds to create their own movements. All right, because even though you teach them the movements in the classroom, allow them to be creative when they go home, when they practice their music, so that they can really dig deep and get a deeper understanding of the music. All right. Um, the teacher must keep in mind that singers' attitude in rehearsal is a key ingredient to group morale and choral success. All right. They have to be interested. All right. So basically, when it comes to movie, you have to sell it to your students. Like going back to them, understanding what they're doing or why they're doing what they're doing. All right. They need to see those benefits of you guys moving around in the classroom. All right. If they cannot see those benefits, they will not be enthusiastic about it. All right. can also, my favorite word is transfer because I believe that everything relates to each other. All right. Music relates to math, math relates to music, and so on and so forth. So, there were actually two authors talked about metaphors. All right, basically, metaphors in movement is considered as metaphors in a sense when it comes to the classroom, because when it comes to the choral classroom, I should say, because you have such words as, trying to get to the page. You have words like that are descriptors, such as float, punch, glide, slash, dab, ring, flick, and press. And they're transferable to music when describing like articulators, tone colors, dynamics, and other elements such as that. You know. So you can make that English language and music connection. Um, I feel that ensembles will respond better to conducting gestures of the director when those gestures are analyzed by the ensemble as a whole, as well as when students begin to understand the interpretive details of the music. So, um, use movement to basically tell the story within the rehearsal. All right, so that when you are conducting your ensemble, you can use those movements that you all use in the rehearsal. If you need it, you have that tool under your belt to pull out while they're on stage, and then say, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and they can actually modify whatever they need to modify. So, I hope that you, as a conductor, you as a teacher, will begin to incorporate movement in your rehearsals. Thank you very much.